The best way to eat a grape is when your mother peels it for you. It must be green and oval. She pokes into the end skin with her nails. She peels back the skin a strip at a time. Sometimes she casts it aside, sometimes she eats it, but she hands you an egg of naked pulp, and into your mouth it goes, sweet, pure flesh of fruit. The best way to eat a grape is stripped naked by your mother and offered one at a time. She peels, you eat, and you don't have to be 5. He holds his gin like an Irish poet, which is to say not well, but with flourish. Conversation slips into verse. An idea lights a match to the alcohol in his brain. Blood rises. A flood of memories knits a verbal coat of arms. Occasionally, apologies tumble. An awareness that the horses are wild tonight, that the ride may make you dizzy in the moonlight. But he looms taller than the moon, and the child in his eyes whispers sweet bedtime prayers as he pours another shot and hands you his notebook. He reads his words in time with you, leaning over your shoulder as if 2 voices could make love on 1 page. He is a big man, easily brawling, except that words pour from him, not blood. The look in his eye warns you forth, calls you forth like a haunted house. You hear shadows in the monologues. Someone died, perhaps a girlfriend. Suicide, heroin, it's hard to tell. But the water is deep and tumbling. And you know, if you fall, it will be dark and cold. Still, he has not moved from your side. He clings to your eyes like floating bark, roping the moments together into a raft. And it's another shot, another poem. And you wonder, were they all like this at 27? Red, long, hot peppers hang by the road in Taos, hang at every street-side stand, at every restaurant window of the Statue of Liberty of this side of the state. Red, long, hot peppers in a long, hot red summer, where your eyes and the earth are ruddy, where the world and the tar both sizzle. He unstraddles his motorcycle outside a small church, buys tomatoes, 2 apples, and corn, looks her in the eye as she fingers fruit, smiles at the man in the plaid work shirt who smiles back at the gringo, tosses a red hot pepper and says, "Just right for a tall, cool drink of water like you." Tall, cool drink of water. Make me a tall, cool drink of water. Meet a red hot pepper, dark black eyes, rough knuckles, cold beer, and a guy in jeans. A horse, or at least a Harley. Spicy food, spicy men, and a dry sense of humor. Red, long, hot peppers, hot red, long peppers, long red, hot peppers. Savor the possibilities. Maybe it's time to move to New Mexico, Montana. Live on red, long, hot peppers. Crisp, green, fresh salad. Cool, thin, green love. Nothing dies forever. Not if you wait long enough. Not with time on your side. The moon knows. She has watched stone towers dominate fields where May dancers once bloomed, watched wind and war and sunset after sunset, open space, just enough here and here for flowers to resurrect themselves, a breath of hope in concrete. Nothing lives forever, not even stone. Count the cycle of sunrise, moonrise, sunrise long enough, and the temple of Artemis outside Seljuk, wonder of the ancient world which ate the many-breasted mother like a split and juicy pineapple, is no more than a slab of marble on a shallow pond. And the double church of Mary, which rose to supplant her down the road, is but the frame of a once stone church. Yet look how the spiral changes, stays the same. The moon in all her faces smiles on Mother God, Virgin Goddess, Virgin Mother, female, all female on this ancient holy land. We make so much of becoming a man, the study, the Torah, the tallis, but women, nature names women. The moon calls us into being. Where is our moon song? Nothing dies forever. Temples nailed shut, women burned, mysteries abandoned or driven underground. The moon can wait. Some winters last longer than others. She dreamt of flying. Not like birds, not wings outstretched, but skywalking, up untouched stairs, down near glass streets, sometimes, only sometimes, treeward. Skywalking, heart light, standing flight. 8 clicks of the planet, 20, 40, as dreams teach their silent lessons. One day, dreams like flowers slip between the cracks at dawn. One body leaves the ground in joy, remembers. And the flowers, year after year, generations down the road, send signals on the wind. Pollen and whispers, inexplicable, unlikely, calling the dormant female seedling, the ready hip, the restless arch, the half-remembered dream. Beloved, it's midsummer, it's moontime, it's Beltane. Come dance. She couldn't explain it, but something changed when the weather heated up. Some old part of her soul stirred, and everything slowed down. Her shadow lengthened and softened. It hid around corners. It carried gardenias. It wore a hat. It had, could it be, a bustle? A sweet languid shadow on the summer afternoons lingering over lemonade and hopscotch. It didn't matter if she wore jeans or a business suit. Her shadow had a hat and a bustle, carried gardenias, lingered. At first it made her nervous, made her check for sunstroke or dehydration. But she got used to it and looked forward to its return. The second summer, she bought a hat and wore a sundress. Her shadow, sweet and languid, still had a bustle, still carried gardenias. She didn't know how she knew they were gardenias. She just knew. That June, she filled a bowl with irises and experimented with perfumes from her childhood. Lemon verbena, lily of the valley. The wind licked against her skin under her sundress. She bought white cotton sheets and started to sleep naked. Her shadow flirted with passing bachelors, dropped a flower, a handkerchief, let another shadow pick it up. The men didn't notice. They were construction workers, waiters, attorneys, policemen, trying to stay a step ahead of the summer heat, trying to stop in a breezy doorway, a bit of shade. They didn't look at what their shadows were doing. But she looked. It was better than television. She started to take longer lunches, upped her sunscreen, broadened her hat, and watched her sweet languid shadow play Scarlett O'Hara on the sidewalk. One day, while she read a magazine in an outside stand, her shadow had a tryst with a doctor on his lunch break and kissed a skateboarder in the park. She was glad the days were long and worried about being lonely come winter. Even the nights had a touch of quiet sadness about them, but she slept early so she could get up at dawn and run, while her shadow followed on a touring bike. She was drinking at a public fountain the day her shadow fell off its bike, and another shadow helped it up. He wore a pinstripe suit and a Panama hat and walked a dog. They talked for a long time as she stretched her calves and drank water. The man himself, a cyclist, was fixing a flat tire. "Our shadows like each other," he said suddenly across the grass. "Would you like to have lemonade and talk about it?" She almost pulled a muscle as she whipped around to look at him. He had sweet, languid eyes, and as she drew nearer, she saw the softness in his smile. She didn't know what to say, but her shadow was already in a tight embrace.